The topic of this is exercise away urinary incontinence without Kegel. The goal is to strengthen your pelvic floor for lifelong continence. And Kegel, while we're really thankful to Dr. Arnold Kegel, is the practitioner who sort of made this a mainstream topic, because before he did that, it was just this dirty little secret that nobody ever wanted to talk about. People wouldn't even tell their doctors. Nobody thought there was anything they could do about it. And I'm sure it was happening to countless people. And it was kept in the dark. So thank you, Dr. Kegel, for bringing this to everybody's attention. However, while the Kegel exercises might be beneficial for some, they might be a little beneficial for others. They might do absolutely nothing for the rest of the population. And as you'll learn, they might even be potentially negative in some instances. There's specific reasons you would not want to do Kegel. So I'm going to do my best to make sure you're fully informed by the end of this 4-class series. Okay, so this is class number 1. So Kegel exercises, you've got them for women, you've got them for men, and they're all over the place. If you do an internet search, you're going to find, oh my goodness, there will be an unlimited number of options for you to look into. And when you go to see a specialist, a pelvic floor specialist, they might even do internal exams. They may have you do exercises that are meant, and it's quite, personally invasive to experience some of these clinicians' skills. And there is so much that can be done that does not require any of that. And to me, it's always a good idea to go for the low-hanging fruit, right? What's the biggest reason, the biggest cause for this issue? And let's address that and see where we get before we start going into things like surgeries and procedures and all of that. And I am not here to tell anybody what to do. I do not tell anyone do not have surgery or do have surgery. That is way above the scope of this class. I am simply going to present risks and benefits, common treatments, and then you can have a more informed conversation with your healthcare providers. So Kegel exercises, you really can consider, you can write an encyclopedia about this problem, and Kegel would be in the first paragraph, because it just touches on the subject. And the reason for that is because your pelvic floor is meant to work subconsciously. And you've got 2 sphincters, and we're going to look at the anatomy pictures next week, and they're like little cartoons. There's no real anatomy that I'm going to show you, so nothing that's kind of shocking to look at. But what you're going to see is those sphincter muscles. Again, only one of them has conscious control. The other one is subconscious. You have no control over it. And then it has nothing to do with how the muscles of the pelvic floor function. So Kegel is all about squeezing your bathroom muscles as hard as you can and holding them. There's some nuances. There's some other ways to do it. Some people will have you do a bridge as you do it and those kind of things. But in reality, it's not addressing the reason that the pelvic floor has become weak and leakage is happening. Kegel exercises are absolutely useless for impacting the strength of the pelvic floor, because you can't think about strengthening a muscle. Otherwise, we could all just sit and be armchair muscle-bound champions. We wouldn't have to do any work, right? So it doesn't resolve the problem. It can help some people, but it usually doesn't resolve the problem. And since the whole point of the muscles in the pelvic floor is to support the bladder, which can get pretty heavy, it can hold up to 2 cups of urine. And if you've ever measured the weight of 2 cups of liquid, it's pretty heavy. And it's going to push down on that pelvic floor. And when you see the anatomy pictures next week, that'll be a good visual for you. And if that pelvic floor can't support that weight, that's what pulls open the sphincter muscles, and that's when leakage happens, right? So isn't it critical that we work on strengthening the pelvic floor? That it seems like that would make the most sense. So since you can't consciously squeeze those muscles and resolve incontinence, Kegel exercises don't fix the problem. And if you have organ prolapse, which is in, again, the anatomy pictures next week when you see them, when those organs are dropping down and they don't maintain the healthy position they're meant to be in, Kegel can actually make that problem worse because you're now squeezing those muscles, squeezing those sphincters around the organs that are not in proper position. So the number one goal here is to work the muscles that support the bladder, and that's what this class is designed to teach you.